second most important part of the espresso, spiritual espresso, is the approach. And the approach should have a motivation very similar to the phrase get enlightened, get mukti, get moksha, whatever word you want to use, get moksha or die trying. Get moksha or die trying. So once you have go get attitude, sort of same attitude what we have on the physical plane, on the material plane, sort of a spiritual seeker should get it back in his internal life and say, listen, I need to give my best and I need to find out who I am, or I need to get enlightened, or mukti or moksha. I need to get mukti, moksha, or I should at least die trying for it. So that's the resolve, and that's very important. Once the seeker has resolved, the movement along this ladder is very, very smooth, because then that resolve within you sort of creates those opportunities. You meet the right people, you meet the right gurus, you meet the right kind of technique, you get the right kind of technique, you get into the right slots. Everything sort of falls in the place if you have this resolve, because this sort of resolve creates energy circle around this ladder, magical energy circle, and everything is sort of, when you need Kriya, you get a Kriya Master, or you get to know a Kriya Master. When you need knowledge, you need Jyana, then you sort of bump into a master or a tradition of knowledge. When it has to do with your chakras, or kundalini, you bump into, or you come to meet, or that path or that being or that master approaches you. So fire in your belly, you sort of reach 70% of the ladder. And of course, to get the optimum view, to get the view which sort of awakens you from this dream, you have to reach the top of the ladder. So the destination which seemed from at ground zero very clear, from ground zero, the top of the ladder, sort of now blurs, because you're reaching at the top of the ladder, and the forces around you, the forces which sort of, the power which sort of creates this, or runs, maintains and destroys this environment around you, and in many ways your own perception of what you are is actually playing more games now. It's trying to, because you're trying to sort of reach the final, the pinnacle, that the ladder gets more and more slippery, it gets more and more narrow, it becomes almost like walking on a thin rope now. And the view from the 70% is more and more now the view of the ladder, and the destination you're going to try to reach, the top of the ladder, is now more scary, because it doesn't, you can't see any object, you don't see any place. It is sort of dark there. So not only you get a huge sense of fear as to, oh, I climbed all this ladder, I'm 70% up, and you have few steps, and I see the final destination. As I'm coming closer, I'm only seeing the top of the ladder as a very mysterious, very frightening place, because it doesn't have anything of the mind, it doesn't have anything of names and forms. It sounds very different to where I come from, the lower part of the ladder, and so you are scared, you're afraid. And also, for sure, the seeker, in the process of climbing up to 70% of the ladder, is sort of tired, physically, mentally, emotionally. He's sort of drained. He has sort of given his best, and now for moving the final steps, the final 30%, he needs some sort of motivation, because he has given everything. In truth, he has given everything what he had, emotionally, psychologically, mentally, physically, even materially. Because unless you reach the top, there is no problem. You still, at the 70%, you still have the vision is still blurred, and you still have confusion about what you are, what you are not. And now that I have my batteries are out, and my effort, whatever effort I do, is sort of being counterproductive, I have to give up. So this is where he wants to give up. This is where with this sort of emotion, with this sort of intent, he sort of closes his eyes and sort of falls unconscious, because he's so tired, he's so exhausted. He gave up. So he falls into a sort of a sleep, or falls unconscious. Now when he sleeps, his guru, or the way he has seen reality, in what form he has seen reality, can be in any form and name. That is not the point. His guru or his guide or his inspiration when he started the journey, vertical journey, sort of appears to him. It can be the Divine Mother, it can be Shiva, it can be Buddha, it can be Christ, it can be anybody. So that point is that thing which sort of inspired you at the start now comes back to help you when you think you are almost dead, you're almost over, your story is almost over and it's not been successful. And what does that divine being descend, come to you in the subconscious level and tell that person, the seeker, who has sort of given up on his search at the 70% mark on the ladder? That person comes, that being comes and whispers in his ear, in the seeker's ear, when he's sleeping, or when he's unconscious, that don't give up, my son. You are near. Don't give up, my son. You are near. Keep going. And moment that sort of moment the seeker seeks that message on a subconscious level, he sort of expresses his lack of ability to sort of succeed. He says, he repeats the same story to that universal being, that I gave my best and my best was not good enough, and now everything that I try is counterproductive. I'm running out of every energy, I'm running out of everything. Even my willpower is now gone, which I used to boast about. I have given up and I tried my best and I couldn't reach. So that's the story he sort of explains, because on the subconscious level we are very honest. We cannot deceive anything, we cannot hide anything. What we are from the internal, how we are internally is sort of projected without any layers of hiding or deception. And once that being, that spiritual being, that universal being listens to the story of the seeker, although the spiritual being knows it pretty well, but hears the whole story from the mouth of the seeker, and sort of sympathizes with him, pats him, caresses him, gives him a hug, gives him or her a hug, and or gives him or her a kiss or embrace, and whispers these magical words in his ear, in his or her ear. And what are these magical words? These magical words are, Lord of the universe, please release me from my own self. Lord of the universe, please release me from my own self. In Hindi, Prabhu, Bhagavan, Lord, mujhko mujhse riha karo. So this is the magical mantra which is whispered by the ultimate guru, the ultimate guide, the ultimate being, in the ears of the seeker who is sort of given up. Once these magical words are ring in the ears of the seeker, they sort of vibrate. They vibrate with lots of intensity, because the soil is now prepared to sort of grow, plant seeds, or the fruit is ready, is ready to ripen and fall. And therefore this chant sort of vibrates to very subtle levels, to the core of his being. He instantly is sort of transported by a hand into the final destination. You don't see the hand, you just have a feeling that somebody sort of pulled you out from that ladder and sort of put you, a crane or a hand, sort of magical hand, or a wind, sort of gush of wind took you and sort of put you on top of the ladder, which you couldn't with your effort, with your sheer will, or your knowing.